Welcome back to all you Barry Burtons out there. In the first video I covered some very basic topics and also introduced funneling. In this video I'm actually going to teach you how to do the manoeuvre.
Nothing to be, nothing to fear, nothing to prove, nothing to say.
When you're practicing this stuff you're going to be causing a lot of carnage. You'll probably make a pilled up George Michael look like a safe driver. One thing you can do to reduce the amount of times you die is to practice on the carrier. If you take the chopper to the other end of the carrier, then you can skite about, you can crash into the surface, you can do all sorts, and you'll constantly be getting repaired if you're just above the surface. You can even have a fairly hefty knock into the carrier. In most cases, if you crash into the deck, you should be able to repair yourself. As long as you don't crash into the tower, then you should survive. And obviously the more time you spend practicing instead of being dead, the better. Right, after all that funneling talk and watching me doing the funneling, you're going to have that one burning question, and I'll answer it. I'm not on the sex offenders register, but thanks for asking. I'll show you a funnel if you want though. Funneling is very difficult to explain. It's like opposites, it's like patting your belly and rubbing your head and all that sort of stuff. See, I just messed that up. It's actually patting your head and rubbing your belly, so there you go.
Mississippi.
Alright, keep your hair on, you fat cocoa shunter. As I said before, this really isn't the easiest thing to learn or explain. If you don't get it at first, don't worry about it, just keep trying and I'm sure you'll get it. The way I'm going to explain this is I'm going to put overlays on the screen that tell you what I'm moving, what I'm pressing, and all that sort of stuff. So by breaking it down into its constituent parts, you should hopefully be able to reassemble it and do it yourself. The first thing you've got to do is roll the chopper to one side. So in this case, I'm rolling it to the left. And you only have to do this at the start of the motion. So once I've rolled it over a little, I stop moving the mouse. The next thing you got to do is you've got to turn in the opposite direction to the direction you were rolling in. So I was rolling to the left, so I've got to turn to the right. And you keep the key pressed at all times. Once you've done that, the last piece of the puzzle is you've got to pitch the nose of the helicopter forwards and accelerate. You'll notice that even though you push the nose down, it will steadily rise by itself, so every so often you've got to give it a little push down again to keep the nose pointing towards the ground. You'll probably also notice that it's the same with the roll, in that the chopper will gradually straighten out, so you'll have to roll it over slightly now and again. So to recap, there are four main steps. First, you roll in one direction and you turn in the opposite direction, then you push the nose down and accelerate. So I'm just going to do exactly the same thing again, except this time I'm turning the other way. So first thing I do is roll very slightly to the right while turning to the left, push the nose forwards towards the ground and accelerate. The two main variables while funneling are the pitch and the roll. You tend to find that the less roll you apply and the more pitch, then the tighter the spin. Whereas if you do more roll and less pitch, then you get a lazier, wider circle. As long as you avoid putting the nose down prematurely, then it doesn't really matter about the order in which you do this stuff. I tend to do all four things at once, but other people may find it difficult to do that. What you may find happens is that you're not rolling enough, or you're not pitching enough, or you're doing both too much, and what you're doing doesn't exactly resemble what I'm doing on the screen. And don't worry about that too much though. As long as you're doing something that vaguely resembles a circle, then you'll improve it with practice.
Terminal addiction. And what good is happiness when it's just a state of mind?
After you've practiced for a bit and you think you're getting it, just load up any map where you can revolve around a point and give it a go. So here on Dalian, I'm using the reactor towers to act as a target to revolve around. And I'm going around quite fast, just maintaining the same sort of distance all the way around. And that way I know I'm doing a circle.
Young girls know what they're after.
Don't just leave it there though. You got to think to yourself, well, what happens if I don't roll the chopper and I just put the nose straight down? Well, this is what happens. You get a really, really tight spin, which is handy if you're directly over a target and you can't really go either side of it. It's just more ammo for your arsenal. If you can do more manoeuvres, then you're more flexible as a pilot and you can give your gunner a better shot.
Bang, bang. Reach for the sky.
Okay, so now I've shown you how to do the funnel. So what happens if instead of rolling and turning in opposite directions, you roll and turn in the same direction? Well, you get this. It's like a short barrel roll. You've probably seen people doing it before when they put the nose down in the chopper. It's good for avoiding TVs and stuff. And the other good thing about it is once you do it, then it's easy to go into a really tight spin, so you can avoid jets and stuff like that too. And here's a third person view of that roll. As you can see, you can do it nice and slow to avoid TVs and stuff. And also you can flow momentum and moves into each other. So here I'm turning hard left, pulling the nose up and then rolling to the right. So you can get a nice wide loop to avoid TVs. And here, instead of putting the nose down, all I'm doing is putting the nose up into the sky. And I'm turning and rolling in the same direction. And as you can see, I'm not losing any height at all when I'm doing this. It's like risk-free avoidance. It's maybe not the best way to avoid stuff, but at least you're not going to crash into the ground. Just to get you thinking about the various uses for this. Say you're getting attacked by a jet and there's no chance to run, you're down on low health. Then you might have only one chance at repairing and the jet's going to be coming for you. So using a similar sort of movement that you've seen in this video, you can revolve around the pad while repairing and make yourself harder to hit. It's not going to make you invulnerable, but it'll give you a better chance than you would if you were just hovering there.
Lonely? What does it mean? Who? Me? Bang, bang. I got mine. Bang, bang. And you are next in line.